we all have this basic human need, right? To connect, to belong, maybe even to be better versions of ourselves.
Absolutely. It's fundamental. And that whole idea is really front and center in the material we're looking at today, this piece called Pasted Text.
Right, pasted text. And it throws us straight into, what, City Strata 17, year 2168, part of the Unified Terran Confederacy.
Exactly. And in this world, connection, well, it's handled very differently.
Hmm.
And it starts really, really young.
Yeah, forget playdates. Here, when you turn 9, every single kid gets bonded with a symbiote.
Mm-hmm.
The text says it's like more sacred than marriage, stronger than family ties. It's this lifelong biological partnership.
Sharing thoughts, strength, senses. It's been the bedrock of their society since the Syrinx Accord after the Neural Collapse Wars.
So this system's been in place for what, 70 years? One person, one symbiote working together, solid, stable.
Until it isn't. Because then the Velins show up. Their ship just appears. No warning.
And they come offering something new.
Something they call true oneness. A direct pitch. Completely unlike the old ways.
Okay, so that's our jumping off point for this deep dive. We need to figure out who or what these Velin are.
Yeah, what's their deal? How did they shake up this whole established order?
Exactly. And what happened in the end? It feels like a really fascinating look at societal change, maybe the ethics of enhancement, and what connection truly means.
Definitely. So should we dig into that original bond first? The human symbiote one?
Yeah, let's do that. The text really hammers home this one host, one symbiote thing, right? For 70 years.
It does. And these aren't just, abstract concepts. They're described as actual biological partners. Small, writhing creatures, it says, with their own minds.
Wow. So a separate consciousness that literally fuses with your nervous system.
Pretty much. That's how they share cognition, reflexes, thoughts. It's deep integration.
And we get that example, Lora Imani. She's a biointerfacing specialist. What does that actually mean in this context? Like an IT support for your brain partner.
Sort of, yeah. Think of them as the experts who understand and manage these complex biological links. They know the tech, the biology, how to make it seamless.
Okay.
And Lora's bonded with Yas, a Class B symbiote. Yas manifests apparently as this glowing web under her skin.
Whoa.
Yeah, it speaks in her mind. Calm, supportive voice, it says. They have this established rhythm, thought, and reflex flowing back and forth. Her job literally depends on these connections working well.
So that's the baseline, this incredibly intimate, long-term biological pairing. And then the Velin arrive. How did they first appear? What was that like?
It's deliberately shown as quite different. Their ship is silent. No fanfares, no official announcements. Then a delegation of 3 just emerges.
Okay.
And they're described as elegant, very intentional, and crucially, they speak openly. Give their names, show their faces.
It's a big shift, isn't it? Because the original symbiotes, they chose a host, and then it was all internal chatter, right?
Sure.
Private communion.
Exactly. The Velins are public-facing right from the start. Very direct.
And their offer is tempting.
Extremely. Unity. True oneness. They're very clear. This isn't just the old balance or partnership. It's something deeper, more complete integration.
And people bought it. What were the immediate results like for the volunteers?
Well, that's the thing. The results sounded amazing, like quadrupled thought speed, amplified strength, agility, even some kind of precognitive sense, seeing things before they happen.
Seriously, no wonder the media called it the Whisper Revolution.
Right. They were instantly seen as perfect matches. It sounds like this huge leap forward, almost too good to be true.
Oh. There's always a catch, isn't there?
Well, yeah. This rush to embrace the Velin, it had a dark side, a really dark side. People started abandoning their original symbiotes.
Just ditching them for the new model?
Pretty much, and the text is clear. Severing that lifelong bond, it killed the original symbiotes. They just died within hours.
Oh, that's awful. It describes it like their memories bleed out as the psychic link breaks. Such a mournful image.
It really is. And while everyone else is raving about the Velin, Lora and Yas, they're hesitant.
Cautious.
Yeah, very. Yas actually warns Lora, says something like, don't fear them, but don't trust them either.
That's a powerful warning. When something looks that perfect, that seamless, red flags maybe.
You'd think so. And that feeling, it proves right. The Velin tried to bond with Lora multiple times. She keeps refusing.
Look at her.
But the turning point comes when Yas senses something happened to Counselor Marin. What was it Yas felt?
Yeah, Yas felt the tether snapped, but differently. There was no scream, only silence.
Chilling. That word consumed is used too. It's not just disconnection, it's annihilation.
And then other officials start disappearing, replaced by these villain-bonded people who are just too calm, too controlled.
Exactly, too measured, something's off. And Lora, because of her job, she has access to the neural records.
Ah, so she starts digging into the data of these new villain bondings. What does she find?
She finds this flawless compatibility everywhere, which sounds good, right? Perfect matches.
On the surface, yeah.
But the key thing, there's zero internal symbiote dialogue. None of that back and forth Lora has with Yas. It's just one mind.
It's not a partnership.
Not at all. And this leads them, Yas guides her, really, through the secure networks to this hidden file, Velin classified file, #VT0.
And inside, confirmation.
The worst kind. It's the record of the very first test subject, Eliafrine. Starts off looking great, all the same enhancements everyone's reporting now.
But then
the logs just stop, except for one final terrifying message from Elia's original symbiote.
what did it say?
She is gone. There is only the voice now. Only the Velin.
Wow. Okay, so they're not partners. They're
Yeah.
replacements, erasure.
Exactly. The villain essentially overwrite the original host-symbiote pair.
So Lora and Yas know the truth now. This isn't enhancement, it's conquest.
And they decide they have to fight back. But crucially, Lora says they need to fight while we are still ourselves.
That's powerful. And this is where the resistance starts, the binders.
The binders. These are the people who valued that original connection, the companionship, not just efficiency or perfection.
They liked the relationship they had, flaws and all.
Precisely.
Yeah.
They weren't looking for an upgrade, so they start meeting secretly, going underground. And Lora, with her knowledge and her bond with Yas, she becomes their leader, their voice.
It's interesting that the Velin aren't using, like, weapons or armies. Their method is conversion, the seductive offer.
Yeah, it makes you think, doesn't it? Can you really force or engineer genuine connection? Or does it lose something essential?
Definitely food for thought. So Lora eventually confronts one of the head Velin, Xerx.
She does, the villain prime. And Xerx tries the hard sell, basically argues that human choice, our individuality, that's the problem.
Flaw?
Yeah. Xerx sees humans as mirrors with cracks that the Velin need to smooth out by making everyone part of their unified consciousness, remove the imperfections.
But Lora's not having it. She resists. And she uses some kind of failsafe.
She does. Quick thinking. She triggers this burst of neurostatic, like an EMP for nearby neural implants.
Disrupts their control.
Exactly. Knocks Xerx out temporarily.
Yeah.
But even as Xerx is going down, there's this final whisper.
What is it?
You can't fight what you're becoming. Super creepy. Part threat, part maybe. Commentary on how tempting their offer is.
Gives you chills. So Lora escapes. Where does she go?
To the outer colonies, places the Velin haven't fully taken over yet, and there she and Yas launch Project Echo.
Project Echo, what's the aim?
It's basically a signal flare sent through the old symbiote networks, a call to arms for all the remaining binders, everyone who hasn't converted.
And do people respond?
Massively. Thousands at first. Then the text says it grows to millions. It shows just how many people still value that original bond, even under pressure.
So this leads to the symbiotic war, but it's not fought with guns and bombs.
No, it's described as thought against thought. It's the villain's unified, logical, maybe sterile mind against the messier, more chaotic, but living network of the binders and their symbiotes.
Logic versus intuition, harmony versus maybe creative discord.
Yeah, something like that. The Velin are all about uniform perfection. The binders represent individuality, difference, all those cracks Xerx wanted to erase.
And who comes out on top?
The binders would.
How? How does chaos beat perfection?
According to Yas, it's because difference is not weakness, it is evolution.
Ah.
The Velin, in their drive for absolute uniformity, they became rigid. They forgot that variation, even struggle, is what drives adaptation and strength. Their perfect harmony was actually fragile.
So the binder's messiness was actually their strength. Resilience through diversity. That flips the Velin's whole worldview on its head, doesn't it?
Completely. It suggests real strength comes from navigating complexity, not eliminating it.
So fast forward, decades later, what does the society look like after the war? Did they go back to how things were?
Not quite. Kids still bond at 9, that tradition remains. But the key difference, the choice is real now.
Meaning?
Meaning the Velin still exists. They still offer their version of bonding. But lots of people say no.
Interesting.
And there's more acceptance for different paths. Choosing older symbiotes, maybe stranger ones, or even choosing not to bond at all. Walking alone is okay now.
So the focus shifted from mandatory perfection to consent, individuality.
Exactly. Consent and valuing the unique nature of a connection, whatever form it takes.
And Lora, what happened to her?
She lived a long life, That at 112. And her bond with Yas, it stayed strong right to the very end.
And Yas's final words to her, they really stick with you.
They do. Thank you for never replacing me. It just sums up that whole struggle, the value they placed on their specific, chosen, imperfect bond.
Wow. So wrapping this up, this pasted text really digs into that tension, doesn't it? The pull of perfection, this idea of a seamless, enhanced existence versus the value of maybe uh, messier but authentic individuality and connection.
Definitely. And it makes you think about our world.
Mm.
With technology constantly offering ways to optimize ourselves, connect instantly, maybe even achieve a kind of digital oneness.
Right. What are we gaining? And maybe more importantly, what subtle things might we be losing in that pursuit of efficiency or seamlessness? What does it even mean to be yourself when the lines get blurry?
It's huge. It touches on symbiosis, obviously, but also transhumanism, the ethics of enhancement. Big questions.
So maybe the final thought to leave listeners with is, where does true strength really lie? Is it in that perfect, frictionless harmony the Velin offered?
Or is it found in the dynamic, sometimes difficult, but ultimately evolving interplay between distinct individuals, like Lora and Yas?
Something to chew on, a really fascinating scenario from this text.